do you feel about the people here protesting Donald Trump?
Well, I feel like everybody should have something to say, but this is a Trump rally. If you don't like it, don't come here to protest. Don't come if you're uneducated and you don't know what you're talking about.
You would rather they just didn't come here?
I would rather them not come here.
Remember, folks, every accusation from a conservative is really just a confession. So many well-meaning people have gotten swept up in the right wing's constant stream of lies that they're living in a world completely detached from reality, which is exactly what the ultra-wealthy ruling class wants.
Are you a fan of the First Amendment?
Absolutely. You know, the right to bear arms. Look, this is...
That's not the First Amendment.
No. The Fourth Amendment.
The game plan is simple. Sabotage and gut the public education system to slowly dumb down the populace, exploit the divisions and tensions already present in the country to pit people with shared economic interests against each other, keeping us distracted from the transfer of wealth from the have-nots to the upper echelons of society. We on the left have always seen this happening and have been calling it out for decades now. But when a massive subsection of the population doesn't even recognize this reality, the ruling class doesn't see us as a threat to their power.
So you'd be okay just not being able to vote?
I don't care as long as they get it. As long as somebody takes care of this country. I don't care. I really don't care. As long as this country is right. Do you want to vote for Kamala Harris?
Are you saying you don't? Are you saying you don't mind if your right to vote would be taken away?
I don't care. I know what I want. I know what I want.
But you wouldn't be able to get what you want if you can't vote for it.
I don't care. I've told you 3 times. I don't care.
Case in point, there's a reason why voting rights are constantly under attack, and so many Americans have to fight to regain or keep their constitutional rights. And it has everything to do with being able to create the conditions necessary to enact systemic change within the confines of the law, no matter how incremental or insignificant it may seem.
This is the American Revolution 2.0. We either willingly fight now or we will be forced to fight on November 6th. This is war, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about that?
I'm afraid that we may have to go to war to keep from being run over.
Would you take up arms if you had to?
You dang Skippy, I would. Yeah. Yeah.
While taking up arms against the American military is objectively one of the worst ideas some conservatives legitimately believe, we do not see some radical change in our country to protect what little rights and autonomy over our lives that we have. No one knows this better than the most popular senator in the country, Bernard Sanders. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
Take a deep breath and appreciate what's going on here. The wealthiest person in the world, who spent at least $277 million to elect Donald Trump in a Republican Congress, has now claimed complete ownership of that party. And what he is saying is, hey, Republicans, forget your constituents, forget your constitutional responsibilities. If you don't do what I, Elon Musk, want you to do, you're out of office. And I have the money to do just that. My friends, what we are looking at here has nothing to do with democracy. What we are looking at here is oligarchy. This is up and up. Government by the billionaire class for the billionaire class. And by the way, Musk is not only trying to intimidate Republicans, he is trying to inject himself into the Democratic Party as well. He is threatening to target Democrats who are standing up to him and his agenda.
Billionaires, CEOs, corporations, and other capital owners always align themselves with fascists and authoritarians when it comes down to it because they share the same interests, amassing immoral amounts of wealth and power off of the backs of the masses.
Now let us be very clear. Elon Musk was not elected to be president of the United States. In fact, he was not elected to be dog catcher. And by the way, what all of this hoopla is really about, above and beyond everything I'm talking about, is that when Trump and Musk come into power in late January, do you know what their first order of business will be? You think it'll be to fix healthcare? You think it'll be deal with climate change? Deal with homelessness? Well, if you thought that, you're dead wrong. Their first order of business will be to provide massive tax breaks for the wealthiest people in this country and the largest corporations. So think about it. At a time of unprecedented income and wealth inequality, when Musk himself is worth almost $500 billion, what these guys want to do is give more tax breaks to billionaires and the heads of large corporations.
In other words, the oligarchs who funded Trump's campaign are going to get a return on their financial investment to ensure Trump's victory. And even more sinisterly, wealthy Democrat Party donors, those who could but didn't directly back, will also benefit. So do you think they actually care all that much that they lost the presidential election?
What we are dealing with right now is that the billionaire class, which owns so much of our economy, which owns so much of our media, they are now moving aggressively to own our political system as well.
We'd speculate probably not. To be fair, the ruling class has always owned our political system. It's just more brazen now, more so than before, at least in recent memory.
The United States today has more income and wealth inequality than has ever existed in the history of our country. You got three people on top, Mr. Musk, Mr. Bezos, and Mr. Zuckerberg, who are now worth almost $1 trillion. That is more than half of the bottom of our society, some 170 million people. Three people, more wealth than the bottom, 170 million. We have more concentration of ownership today than we have ever had. We have more concentration of ownership in the media, where a handful of billionaires like Musk, Bezos, Rupert Murdoch increasingly own the media and the information that the American people receive. We have a corrupt campaign finance system in which a small number of billionaires in both political parties make huge contributions into the presidential and congressional campaigns. When you have a small number of multi-billionaires who have enormous economic, media, and political power, would you agree with President Biden, who last night stated, and I quote, "An oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights, and freedoms," end of quote. That's what President Biden said last night. I agree with him. Do you?
The three billionaires who you listed that all made the money themselves. Mr. Musk came to the country as an immigrant.
I understand that, but what I'm asking you is, when you have a handful of people like Musk, who will soon be part of the Trump administration, and others, when you have three people owning more wealth than the bottom half of American society, when these people have enormous influence over the media, when they spend huge amounts of money in both political parties to elect candidates, what Biden said last night is we're moving toward an oligarchy. I'm asking you that question. Do you think, forget how they made their money, do you think that when so few people have so much wealth and so much economic and political power, that that is an oligarchic form of society?
Well, I would note that President Biden gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom to two people who I think would qualify for his oligarchs. So
this is not a condemnation of any one individual. I'm just asking you, would so few people have so much wealth and power?
But
do you think that that is an oligarchic form of society?
Senator, I think it depends on the ability to move up and down the income.
No, that's not really the answer. I mean, even if you had that mobility, no matter who those individuals might be, All right, but let me ask you another question. Right now in America, we have over 22 million workers who are making less than $15 an hour, and nearly 40 million people in our country earning less than $17 an hour. Shamefully, the federal minimum wage, despite the efforts of myself and other people here, have not been raised since 2009 and remains an unbelievable $7.25 an hour.
Of course, a reported billionaire hedge fund manager like Scott Bessent, Trump's nominee for Treasury Secretary, refused to admit the obvious. We are moving toward very dark times, though it has been dark, and only we can dig ourselves out of the hole we are in.